Hello, Giants fans. Welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. We come at last to the All-Star break. The National League All-Stars will be playing the American League All-Stars. Tonight, Jock Peterson will be in the National League. Giants fans got him in pretty easy. So will Carlos Rodon, although I don't think he's going to pitch because of a minor, I think it was a strain or something. At any rate, he needs to rest, so he's an all-star, but he's not going to pitch, and I would honestly rather have him rest if he needs to so that he can save his inning strength and throw the innings that are truly meaningful and that really matter for the Giants in games that actually count toward their end-of-the-season record. Now, along those lines, we're also coming up near the trade deadline. It is kind of interesting that Juan Soto won the home run derby for the National League. No, excuse me, that's not a league thing. Never mind. He won the home run derby last night. It was Pete Alonso for 2 consecutive years, 2019 and 2021. I don't think they had a home run derby in 2020. I know they didn't have an all-star game. So Juan Soto won it, which is interesting because both the Giants and the Dodgers are looking at him as a possibility of trade deadline acquisition. Now, it's also possible neither of them gets him. Very possible, but with both the Giants and the Dodgers looking at Soto as an interesting possibility to add to their rosters and improve them, we have to look at what marginal contribution he'd be likely to make. And that's defined as being the gain or the loss. Like, the Giants get him and the Dodgers don't. What do the Giants gain out of it? What do the Giants also have to lose if the Dodgers get Soto, which means they don't? I apologize for all the noise. Everybody's doing something today. It's just going to have to happen. Don't get distracted. We're talking about baseball. Anyway, Juan Soto is the guy that's the big talk about the deadline. And the Giants are thinking of getting him. The Dodgers are thinking of getting him. If the Giants got him, what would that do for them? Well, we have to look at the records. It's not like they're seriously chasing the Dodgers for a division spot. The Giants are 48 wins, 43 losses. The Dodgers are 60 wins, 30 losses. So the Giants, I don't believe, are in serious contention for the division like they were last year. If they get to the playoffs, it probably will have to be through the wild card. Giants still have a good chance at that, so fighting the Dodgers over Juan Soto is not evidently going to help the Giants in the division race because they're pretty much out of that. I would think I just have to be honest. But keep up hopes. It's what goes on in the postseason that really matters. They get to the wild card game, they still have a chance of going all the way. But, for one thing, here's one other factor. That doesn't mean that the series the Giants will play against the Dodgers for the rest of this season, the rest of the series they would play against the Dodgers, that does not mean that such series are not especially significant. They may be more frequent, for one thing, than playing just the average other teams, since there are 2 other divisions. The National League West is 1/3 of the National League, and the Dodgers are in the Giants division. Coming up against the Dodgers would be fairly frequent as compared to the rest of baseball. And also, the Dodgers being first, they have won twice as many now as they have lost, and they are a really good team. They will be tough opponents for the Giants. Giants did sweep the Dodgers once this year in a 3-game series. So that is the significance of coming up against the Dodgers. Not so much anymore that they are division rivals as that they are just a tough opponent that they will have to face more this season. That would be the significance of Juan Soto between the Giants and the Dodgers as opposed to the Giants and anyone else. Now, there are other teams in the Giants division. I still think the acquisition of Soto is more significant between the Giants and the Dodgers than between anyone else in the division because the Dodgers are such a tough team. They are first in the division that is the point I'm making. And the question is, what marginal contribution would he make for either team? Well, the perceptive answer is a lot. Of course, our solution to that, if he went to the Dodgers, would be the Giants' pitching has to beat him. It has to be able to beat the good hitters, which brings up the next point. There are evidently people, I know there are people on KNBR, who think the best thing for the Giants is to get a couple more relief pitchers. What do you call them? Bullpen arms, bullpen pitchers, relievers, relief pitchers. I just got to use something. You know what I'm talking about. Relief pitchers. They think that is the thing that will benefit the Giants most, that it would improve their pitching system. I don't think the bullpen is all that bad already, but at the trade deadline, you're looking to make things really good, and something has to be done to prevent a lot more of the Giants' losing streaks they've had this year. Although they have kept their winning record in all of them, I think they're going to have a pretty good second couple of months of the season in order to get past the other teams that are competing for the wild card spot. And if you spend all your money, I mean, Soto, he's on a $17 million deal for 1 year, so the Giants, they have to pay some high salaries already. If they have to pay the rest of Soto's, or almost the rest of it, I don't know that is as much of an issue for them as trading prospects is. You do have to think about the future, although right now, the purpose of this is the here and now and making the playoffs and winning in them in 2022. But, you know, we still, the future is going to be the future. We still have to think about high prices at the trade deadline, and it's a legitimate question. But I would say what's really evident to me is that the question is not so much what can the Giants spend right now for us who are 2022 focused, but how should they spend it and how can it be spent most wisely. The asking price on Soto is going to be very high, I know, and probably what they would spend to get Soto maybe roughly the same as what they could spend to get maybe 2 or 3 other guys whose names are, well, they would still be fairly well known, but maybe just not so superstar well known as Soto. That, I think, is the issue. Now, Soto, he's played from 2018 to 2022, so he should have one final contract here. I don't think he's becoming a free agent. Whether it happens after 2023 or 2024, I'm not sure, but whoever picks up Soto has him for not only the rest of this year, evidently, but at least it would be the rest of the next year, if I'm counting things correctly. So, but in the immediate, yes, you would have contribution. The question for the Giants is, do they pick him up, or would it be wiser to spend what they would be paying for him on maybe 2 or 3 other guys? And I would almost, I see a lot of benefit, I think, in the latter option. If you're going after one guy like that and spending everybody, there is the possibility, of course, that he's not going to perform. I mean, that's always a possibility, even though it's not a likely one. He's the home run derby champion, man. That's what you'd probably say about that. But, you know, we just... Responsible baseball fans have always been skeptical about spending too much on one player. A lot of... I think, according to my understanding, a lot of people who think deeply about baseball wonder whether that's a very economically efficient decision to spend what you've got all on one player. And those would be legitimate concerns. So if the Giants went for the latter option, getting a few players that may not be as highly priced, but still going to add a lot of benefit to the Giants instead of after the home run derby champion that is going to be very highly priced. But the other question you have to ask is, okay, so the Giants drop their interest in Juan Soto. What if that happens? Then, will they be harmed if another team and I think specifically a team in their division like the Dodgers, but really any team in their division. But, yes, I said specifically the Dodgers. Will they be harmed if such a team picks up Juan Soto when they're playing that other team? That's the calculation that has to be made. A lot of thoughts in the Giants front office would have to go to such a thing as that. What would be the negative on the benefit? Do they have to pursue Juan Soto from a baseball perspective just to prevent one of their primary opponents from getting him? And any other National League team that gets him and makes the postseason with him, the Giants could have to face, they make the postseason, and it lines up with whoever wins, the Giants could have to face such a National League team in the postseason. It's not like Soto is going to stay with the Nationals if the Giants don't pursue him. So from the Giants' perspective, is it better to get Juan Soto, or is it better to go after 2 or 3 other guys? That's one question. The other question is, do they have to pick him up to keep him from a potential opponent either in the regular season or the postseason getting him? Those will be the 2 questions. And I'm going to try to answer them later. This video was mainly designed to bring up what the Giants are mainly looking at, but I'm going to try to give updates and the best answers I can give to questions like these as we near the trade deadline. After the All-Star game, after the break is over, Thursday, the Giants start a 4-game series against the Dodgers. And I know many fans, when they realize how good the Dodgers have been this year, which they are pretty much every year, they might be shivering in their boots a little bit. Giants have to play the Dodgers. If you're going to look on the positive side of things, I would say this. I would rather have had the Giants play the Dodgers now when they're coming off a winning streak and a week in which they went 5 for 7 in their last 9 games. It was 7 for 9. Only 2 losses in the last 9 games, so it's been a good week, a good hot streak. I would rather have them play the Dodgers now than have had the series against the Dodgers come up like a week or 2 ago when they were losing games. You remember that losing streak? That would have been a bad time to have to play the Dodgers. MLB is not just going to set the schedule for your favorite team in their favor, but it worked out this way. They're coming off a hot streak. And the other statistic would be that in 4 out of 7 games last week, the Giants have scored 8+ runs. The thing has to happen. I'd rather have it happen in this situation than the one we just had. Thank you so much for watching. Also, please remember, there is a competition on a question: which season did Barry Bonds hit the most home runs and how many did he hit in that season? You can answer by emailing me at gabrielvaughn89@gmail.com. The winner will be interviewed for this channel over email, and I'll take their opinion on questions. Your name is not given out unless you specifically want it to be. So please do the competition. The first person to correctly email me with the answer, in which season did Barry Bonds hit the most home runs and how many did he hit in that season? It's with the Giants, by the way, not with the Pirates. That person will have their interview here on Giants Baseball 101 if they want it. Thank you, and also please subscribe if you have not. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.